Was facing a lifetime in prison for defending himself. He was acquitted on November 19, 2021. After being found not guilty, Rittenhouse spoke at AmericaFest 2021, hosted by Turning Point USA. And with over 10,000 people in the audience, Kyle spoke alongside some of the other men who were in Kenosha on the night of his self-defense shooting. Rittenhouse is now 20 years old and has decided to use his unfortunate situation for good, bringing light to the lies and false information that's spread about him and others who are forced to defend themselves. Kyle is now a First and Second Amendment advocate whose background and experiences give him a unique perspective about why our Constitution is so important for the well-being of all Americans. He has been interviewed by some of the most prominent political media personalities in the country, including Tucker Carlson, Charlie Kirk, Pete Hegseth, Tim Pool, and Neil and Julie. Kyle has an extremely unique and powerful story that captivates other Americans' hearts when they hear the real story, as opposed to the biased narrative that was and still is continuing to be pushed about him in the mainstream media. He's a strong Christian and passionate about this country's future. The Second Amendment saved Kyle's life when he was 17 years old, and the First Amendment gives him the opportunity to speak up about his own experience during this challenging time for our nation with Americans who want to take away our constitutional right to bear arms. In his free time, Rittenhouse enjoys flying and hopes to get his private pilot license soon. He also loves spending time with his golden retriever, who is a trained service dog. Kyle and his furry best friend enjoy training together and going on hikes. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Rittenhouse.
So Idaho's been interesting. It's my first time here, and all I really know about you guys is you guys are known for your potatoes. I gotta say, I love the view here. It is a little cold. I love the mountains, though. I'm from Texas, and I'm coming from 80-degree weather, so I was a little cold when I got off the plane, and yeah, I'm glad to be here, and thank you guys for all coming out. So, a little background. On August 25th of 2020, I was put in an unpredictable situation where I was forced to defend my life. I was put on trial, smeared by the media, smeared by the current sitting president of the United States, where he went on to call me a white supremacist in a campaign video. And the attacks still haven't stopped. I face lawsuits and ridicule on a daily basis, and I'm hoping I get to share some of that with you guys today.
Mike, thank you. So, Kyle, we wanted to ask you a few questions here tonight. Take us through what your life has been like since your acquittal a year and a half ago. I mean, we watched the whole ordeal. It was very painful to watch you go through. I was watching some clips the other day, and what a painful experience that was for you. So maybe get us caught up what your life has been like the last year and a half.
So since I was acquitted on November 20th of 2021, my life has been a little bit of a roller coaster, to say the least. I've traveled around a lot. I've got to meet a lot of cool people like Tucker Carlson, President Trump, and I've met a lot of great supporters like you guys. It's been a real honor to shake all of your guys' hand, and I've gotten to advocate for some people who may have not been known in the media very well, or the media didn't report it, such as Sergeant Daniel Perry, who was forced to defend himself. He was wrongfully convicted just a couple weeks ago in Travis County in Austin, Texas, after a rioter pointed an AK-47 in his direction, and he defended his life. And the media didn't really pick up on that until he was wrongfully convicted by a rogue DA, to say the least. I had the opportunity to testify for a bill in North Dakota. It was called Kyle's Law, and that law, unfortunately, did not get passed through, but they are going to be bringing it back in 2 years. What Kyle's law entailed was anybody who was acquitted of using lawful self-defense deserves to get reimbursed by the state for legal fees. They get reparations. We were able to uncover some of the real rhinos in North Dakota that voted against that. I've gotten to spend a lot of time with my golden retriever. He's been an excellent service dog. He is one of the cutest dogs you will ever see and one of the smartest, most talented dogs ever. I put a lot of training into him, and that's just some of the lot of things that I've done.
Kylie, if you could go back, is there anything you would have done differently during that whole Kenosha episode?
If I would have known what would have happened, if I would have known I would have been ambushed, chased down, had guns pointed in my face, and then put on trial for defending my life, I wouldn't have gone. I would have stayed home. But that does not change the fact that I was violently and viciously attacked by a mob of rioters.
Kyle, for many conservatives, you've become an important example and a voice for why the Second Amendment is so important. What is your basic message to others about the Second Amendment, especially as it pertains to the right of self-defense?
The Second Amendment saved my life. It saved many lives, and maybe some in this room. People who have been forced to defend their lives in that unfortunate circumstance. We have a government that is currently coming after our Second Amendment, our rights, and in my opinion, that's an attack on the rest of the Constitution. They take our guns, they take the rest of our freedoms. It's there for a reason, and I'm a strong believer. Bad guys are gonna still get guns. We aren't gonna have this whole thing where gun control is gonna work. Look at Chicago, look at New York, look at Los Angeles. The statistics are there. Criminals are gonna get guns and they're gonna commit crimes. It's not gonna lower the unfortunate school shootings. It's not gonna stop these bad, mentally ill, disturbed individuals from causing harm to others. What will is a good guy with a gun.
Kyle, you're being sued by one of the families of the men who attacked you, or the man who attacked you. Is there anything that you can talk about? And if so, what would you say about that wrongful death lawsuit against you?
So I'm currently being sued by two individuals. I'm being sued by the estate of Anthony Huber. He was the guy who attacked me with the skateboard and I was forced to defend my life from him. And I'm being sued by Gage Grosskreutz, the guy who decided to point a pistol in my face. These lawsuits have been stressful. They've cost a lot of money. And to be honest, I couldn't be able to afford my attorneys if it weren't for people like you guys that support me, you guys that donate and pray and help me get through this, because this lawsuit is an example of if you defend yourself, if you are acquitted, we're gonna take you to civil court, we're gonna bankrupt you, and they're trying to do that to me, a 20-year-old kid who has no assets. Imagine if I was some 45-year-old man who worked my entire life for everything I had, and they decided to come take that from me. They're gonna use this as precedent.
Finally, Kyle, I want to ask you, what do you think the relationship is between the right to bear arms and our other freedoms recognized in the Constitution?
Our founding fathers written it out very intentionally what the Constitution says. They say we have the right to bear arms. It is in our Second Amendment. If the government comes and they say, okay, well, they were just like, that was just implied. If we come and take that, they start picking. They pick at these little things. These little things turn into bigger things. They turn into other issues. They turn into your First Amendment rights, your Fifth Amendment rights. Actually, a funny story. So while I was on trial, I'm not sure on how many of you remember the part where Attorney Binger, the assistant DA prosecuting me, violated my Fifth Amendment rights on asking about my post-arrest silence. So that's just another small example on how the government tries to violate people's rights and take them from them. But we lose our Second Amendment rights. We lose our rights to bear arms. It's my belief that the rest crumbles, the rest fails. and then it's just tyrantry. It's whatever the government wants to do, and honestly, we have to stop it. It can't be put up. And how we stop it? We have a lot of rhinos. We have a lot of Democrats. We need to hold them accountable. These are our elected politicians. They work for us. We need to vote them out if they don't do the right thing. If they are not, doing what is in the best interest for the people, vote them out. If they're passing bills allowing like drag shows to go on in churches or schools, or doing that, or other terrible things, vote them out. Vote in somebody who will protect the Constitution, protect the American people, and protect our rights.
Kyle, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Rittenhouse, very important.